Welcome to Personal Motivations for Leadership, a screencast for the Dean Prep Academy program. To become the very best leader you can be, you need to be clear about the core values that guide your decisions and actions. You have to discover what is important to you, what you care about, and what you value. In other words, what is your why? The focus of our screencast today will be on identifying what motivates us as leaders through discovering our why. The idea of starting with why was popularized by Simon Sinek in his popular TED Talk and best-selling book. Today we will be looking at our why through the lens of leadership. Why is it that some leaders and organizations are able to inspire greater loyalty and engagement among their customers and employees? How are they able to achieve and sustain inordinate amounts of success for years on end? Whether they realize it or not, all great and inspiring leaders and organizations think, act, and communicate in the same way, and it is the complete opposite from everyone else. Every single organization and person functions on three levels: what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. When those three pieces are aligned, it gives us a filter through which to make decisions. It provides a foundation for innovation and for building trust. When all three pieces are in balance, others will say, with absolute clarity and certainty, "We know who you are, and we know what you stand for." This simple idea is the golden circle. It is a concept discovered by author Simon Sinek. Every organization and individual knows what they do. For an organization, these are the products they sell or the services they offer. For an individual, it's the job title or role. A school, for example, educates children, and a teacher teaches students math or music or some other content. Some organizations and individuals know how they do what they do. The hows are an organization's or individual's strengths, values, or guiding principles. These are the things they feel set them apart from the competition, the things they think make them special or different from everyone else. At NHA, that might be the classroom framework. For you as a teacher, it might be differentiating instruction or building strong relationships with your students. Very few people and very few organizations can clearly articulate why they do what they do. Why is a purpose, a cause, or a belief. It provides a clear answer to the questions: why do you get out of bed every morning? Why does your school exist? And why should that matter to anyone else? Making money is not a why. Having a title is not a why. Things like salaries, titles, parent satisfaction scores, evaluation outcomes, and enrollment are simply the results of what we do. The why is about our contribution to impact and serve others. The why inspires us. The why is what inspires others to believe in and invest in us. People naturally communicate from the outside in. They typically go from what is easiest to understand to what is hardest to understand. They tell people what they do, tell them how they're different or better, and then they expect a behavior like an enrollment, a hiring, or support for a decision. Here is how most organizations market and communicate. The what. Here is our school. We teach children in grades K through 8. The how. We have talented teachers, a rigorous curriculum, involved parents, and dedicated administrators. Our test scores are higher than the neighboring schools, and our schools are safe. The behavior. Enroll your child today. The problem is that what and how do not inspire action. Facts and figures make rational sense, but people do not make decisions purely based on facts and figures. Starting with what is what commodities do. Starting with why is what leaders do. Leaders inspire. Leaders and organizations with the capacity to inspire all think, act, and communicate from the inside out instead. They start with their why. When they communicate their purpose first, they actually communicate in a way that drives decision-making and behavior. It literally taps the part of the brain that influences behavior. Here is the same example with the school, this time starting with their why. The why. We believe that all children can and will learn. It is our responsibility and our honor to provide opportunities and individualized support to enable our students to achieve their fullest potential and make a positive impact on the world. The how. We do so by employing a world-class team of dedicated teachers who utilize research-proven instructional strategies and form positive personal relationships with students built around the belief that effort creates ability. We work in collaboration with parents to build a partnership dedicated to the success and well-being of each child in our care. The what? We are a very special school. Come and see for yourself. If the people at this school actually believe in their why and think, act, and communicate starting with their why, they will attract people who believe what they believe and who want to be a part of their vision and purpose. This will impact everything they do, from enrollment, employee engagement, to strategic vision. Why does this work? It's not magic, it's science. A cross-section of the human brain shows that its layout perfectly correlates with the three major components of the golden circle. The outside of the brain is the neocortex, which corresponds with the what level of the golden circle. The neocortex is responsible for all rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections of the golden circle, the how and the why, correlate to the limbic brain. The limbic brain is responsible for emotion and feelings, like trust and loyalty. It is also responsible for human behavior and decision-making, yet it has no capacity for language. That's why you sometimes make a decision because it just feels right, or you avoid a situation because something feels off. You can't articulate why you're doing these things because your limbic brain is controlling your behavior, and it does not have the ability to translate your motivation into words. When you communicate from the outside in, by starting with the what and the how, your listener's neocortex will help them understand vast amounts of complicated information, like features, facts, and figures. But without activating their limbic brain, those facts will not impact their behavior. When you communicate from the inside out by starting with the why, on the other hand, you speak directly to the limbic brain that controls emotions, behavior, and decision-making. The limbic brain also controls a person's loyalty. Loyal people will choose to work harder, try new things, and proudly defend and champion your organization and your vision. This is the reason we can say that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, and what you do simply serves as the tangible proof of what you believe. As you move into leadership, I challenge you to develop three things. Number one, the clarity of why. If you don't know why you do what you do, how can you expect anyone else to know? And if you don't know why you do what you do, how will you ever get anyone to choose to follow you and want to be a part of what it is you do? Number two, the discipline of how. The action that you take to bring your why to life must be aligned with your values, your guiding principles, strengths, and beliefs. And number three, the consistency of what. Everything you say and everything you do must be consistent with what you believe. The only way people will know what you believe is if your actions demonstrate it. As a leader, you will have to make decisions every day. Whom do you hire? What do you spend money on? How will you spend your time? How will you schedule your teacher's time? How do you resolve conflicts? How do you react when an angry parent confronts you in the parking lot? What do you do when a student shows up in your office? How do you make a decision when there's no good solution in sight? And how do you convince your staff to tackle a new initiative? If you know why you do what you do and what you value, that's what you can pivot to when there's no clear answer or action step in front of you. So what about you? Why do you want to be a leader? Some of you may have a clear internal drive towards leadership. If that is true for you, what is the source of that motivation? Some of you may not have such a clear motivation. Maybe you're starting to feel like you're ready to move on from teaching, and leadership just seems like the next logical step. Maybe your dean or your principal is pushing you towards leadership, and you aren't entirely sure yet. There's nothing wrong with that either. But leadership is hard work, and it can be thankless work at times. Right now, you're a master in your field. You know what to do, and you do it well. As you transition into leadership, you will need to be willing to give up what made you successful and start again, learning new skills and valuing new things. This can be a very difficult psychological shift. If you are going to successfully navigate that transition, you need to have clarity of your why. For your next assignment, I want you to develop your own personal why to explore your personal motivation for leadership. To end our screencast today, I want to challenge you with this thought. Your desire to change must be greater than your desire to stay the same. Is that true for you? Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to partnering with you on your leadership journey.